Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Yeah, so I think it's all more or less connected. So in the break, I went for a nice lunch, had a nice lunch with my friend. We watched Ahsoka episode 4, and now I have screwed in. Well, I say screwed in. I've attached this with a clippy clip. The clips, I managed to hook them on. I ended up taking it out to get the clips on, and then I put them back in, and now it's clipped in place. Now, it's not quite as low as this one, but it's as low as it will go. How low can you go? How low can you go? It's as low as this one was. Well, it's as low as it's not quite as low as this, but it is as low as it'll go because there's a bit of the motherboard in the way down there. So it's resting on a little plastic block. So that's as low as that'll go. That's a bit lower, and that's slightly better, I think, because that's more in line. But it's the best it's going to get. So all that's left is I need to plug in this thing. We need to put in the fan power onto this one on the left. And then I think it's all plugged in. So then we just need to try and tidy up the cables as best we can. And hopefully then we're away. Hello, Red the Mighty. Hello, Ashley Smith. Hello, Nowry. Lovely to have you here. Welcome back to part 3 of this extravaganza. I'm wearing a blue t-shirt now because the last one was way too sweaty. It's so warm. It's just too warm here in the UK. Hey, Starroll/Nuna. Nice to see you again. Hopefully it'll be fairly stable. Right, let's try and find the power cable for this then. Which is... There's the Y cable. That's where it's got to plug in. And here, yeah. Here is the cable for the fan. So in theory, I just plug this into that. Let's pop you over on one side. Too warm indeed. It is too warm. There you go. You get a lovely shot of the side of my hairy leg. Hope you enjoy. Right. That is now connected. So let's do a little sanity check. Hello, Hayley. Welcome to the stream. Little sanity check. Does this all, broadly speaking, look right? Because I know a SATA cable had popped out before. And we popped that back in now because you guys spotted it. These two aren't supposed to be connected to anything. But as far as I can tell, every connector is now connected to something. There are no loose wires. We've got GPU power. We've got CPU power. We've got motherboard power. We've got the case fans. We've got the CPU fans. I think it's all more or less secured. So I think the thing to do now is let's just see if there's any cable tidying we can do. I don't know how much we can really... what we can really do with them, to be honest. That goes there. That one loops under. Can't do a lot with that. It's a bit of a higgledy-piggledy mess, but I can't actually really do anything. I could maybe tie some of them together, but... It's not a lot that can actually be done for it. It's pretty neat, really, all things considered. Yeah, it might be a good shout to test it first. Yeah, before we strap everything down, if there's any tying or whatever of cables, maybe test it first. Yeah, sure. We can give it a go. We can fire up the old PC, see if it'll boot. I should screw on the antenna for the motherboard. Which are these bunny ears. So we stand a chance of getting some Wi-Fi. Though I am, of course, going to plug in to the Ethernet anyway. I can never figure out how to get that to be. There we go, and then twist. There's one. Hello, Revenstar. Hope you're well. There we go. Bunny ears in place. Right, let's clear a space under the desk and pop the PC where it's going to need to go. We'll just move the old parts over to one side. All of that stuff out of the way. Here's another cable tying strap thing worth having. Put that on one side. Right. We'll try and plug in. Now, I think I'll use the fresh cable they gave me for the PC, for the power, which I did put somewhere here. I did hold on to it, slightly losing track of things. I thought I did, because there was a new cable. Oh no, don't want that on my rug. I'm sure that's probably fine. I've lost the cable. I thought I was being all neat and tidy, and I obviously wasn't. Where is it gone? I mean, ultimately, a power cable is a power cable, isn't it? I just wanted to use the one that had come with the new kit. Well, nothing's gone boom yet, Imaginary Gamer, but we haven't actually tried putting any power in the thing. So, if anything's going to go boom, now's about the time, or in the next couple of minutes, is about the time that the boom's going to happen. So stay tuned for boom. Nothing went boom yet, indeed, very much. Yet is the operative word there. Lost, how have I lost it? There it is, found it. Right. Clear ourselves a little space. I'm going to twizzle you round again. Where should we pop you? What cinematic angle should we have this time? Maybe go sort of there like that. I'll get the PC. Oh, I've got my bunny ears the wrong way around. Oh. Okay. Here it is. Oh. One PC with no sides on. Looks kind of cool with the sides open like that. We're gonna unplug the old power cable. We'll just pop that off with the old PSU. As I say, I think they're much the same, but just in case. We'll get the brand new one. Yeah, it will be a bit loud with the sides off, I imagine. But that's okay. Oh, we'll take the plastic thing off the power supply. Right. Ensure that's in the off position. Now this, I understand, is what's called a smoke test. What we're going to do is press the power button, and if there's any smoke, we're going to very quickly power it off. Basically. Won't try plugging anything into it yet. We won't try a full boot. We're just going to try powering it on and see where we're at. So, power is on the back. All cables remain plugged in. So, here goes. Well, there's light. by are all the cables seated? They're all plugged in properly. What do you mean by seated? Certainly seems to be moving. Case fans are spinning. Lights are on, but nobody's home. Look at the glowy, look at the RAM. It's RGB RAM. Completely pointless in an enclosed case like this, but there we go. Nothing on fire yet. So let's try plugging in the keyboard and mouse and PC screen and see if anything will come up. See whether it'll actually boot. So we'll go around the back. I won't bother plugging everything in, but something just rattled. It just works. At the moment, it just works. Lovely cool breeze coming from the CPU fan. Very nice. Right, where's my cable? Here we go. DisplayPort cable. Can never get this the right way around. No? Other way? Other way. Right, DisplayPort cable is in. Gonna want a keyboard so I can type. They're lovely, clean USB ports on the back, much better than my old ones. And I'm gonna need a mouse, or maybe some sound. Let's test the sound. Ooh, noisy. But that does suggest something's coming through. When I say I'm not going to plug everything in, let's just plug everything in. Ethernet. Because we've got to test everything, right? Come on. There we go. Oh, you think I'd plug everything with the PC off? What do you think? Just power it down? Just hit the switch? Because it's obviously kind of booting or something. Or I guess I could just fully power it off. Just crash it. Shall I hold the button down? Yeah, okay. Oh, ow. Fine. No, I have done that before. It's just I didn't know whether that might upset it. Being new and everything. But now we need a mouse and we need a keyboard. So where's my mouse? There should be one more USB cable. We don't need all the stream peripherals just at the moment. We do need the mouse. Where is it? Where's the cheeky little thing? It says it's that one. Oh, so that is the mouse. So where's the keyboard? Keyboard is that one. Ah, there it is. Yeah, I'm okay. Are you okay? There we go. Oh, nah, the cable control's fine. It's all fine. Right, we have the peripherals we would need to see if it boots. So, power on. Monitor on. Hey, Morgan. Gosh, look at the dust on my screen. Really shows up on the... It's awful, isn't it? Really shows up in this light. Needs a good clean. We'll do that at some point. Anyway. Anything? Nothing appears to be happening. Slightly disappointing. I was hoping for more life than that. No lights on the mouse, suggesting there's no power coming to the mouse. Just make sure the monitor is actually on, which it is. Okay, so we need to ascertain what is going on. Troubleshooting. It was never going to be straightforward. I did hope it would spring to life. The Ethernet thing is flashing, which does suggest something's happening there. See, I've plugged it in to the GPU. But I could try plugging it directly into the motherboard, just to see if that's the problem. Which way up? Square at the bottom. Does my i9 end with an F? No, it's just the K. Yep, inputs on display port. Oh no, I didn't want HDMI. Display port input. See, it's interesting that there's actually nothing coming up, which suggests it's not like a software problem. Looks like a hardware problem. It's like it isn't, like there's no power coming to the mouse, for instance. Hey, Catnapper, welcome to the stream. So, but there is power coming to the audio. That is connecting to something, because that's lit up in blue, which means it's got an input. So how can we test this? Oh, figure out what's going on. So, which one of these was the mouse? The mouse was this one on the bottom. So if I try unplugging that, turn it off and on again. Yeah, we can try that in a minute. Good idea, Secret Time Lady. I don't own a multimeter, so that one ain't gonna happen. But if I plug that in to there, do we get any lights on the mouse? Because the mouse should light up. No, we don't. So that suggests there's no power coming through. Oh, sometimes the motherboard is doing some RAM training. Okay, we can try turning it off and on again. What do you think? Power it down again? Hey, Thomas the Thermonuclear Bomb. Very grateful for the suffering support. Very much no activity on the screen or the mouse. But power is on. So should we have a look? I remember there being warning lights on the motherboard to indicate what's not working. Let's see if we can find those. Have I tried asking it nicely? Please work, Mr. Computer. Please, please, please. Do the fans spin? Yep, fans spin. CPU fan is blowing nicely. Case fan is blowing. Other case fan is blowing. They are working. So that suggests that there's power. Yeah, so there's definitely power coming to the motherboard, obviously, because there's all lights on it. Okay, memories fade, sleep well. Now, I do remember about there being warning lights on the motherboard somewhere. When I looked at a tutorial, it said sometimes there are warning lights to tell you what's not working. I can't see any, though. Can you? Oh yeah, there's a red light. Debug LED. And the red light is on. Okay, that's going to tell us what's what. Yeah, it's not. Hi, Blue Pones. It's not a question of compatibility. We made sure it was compatible. I did all that research beforehand. Now, that says that red light there is a debug light. Yeah, power supply is fine. And that is on CPU. That's what it says there in red. The light is on the CPU. Which suggests that is the problem, right? That was my understanding of the purpose of these lights, is it'll light up with the one that's causing the issue. CPU, RAM, VGA, boot. So the CPU is in there. It's underneath all this gubbins, but it's in there. It's a 13th gen CPU. And the motherboard is a MSI Z90 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. So, if I try powering it off again and power it on again, we'll just see what those lights do. That red light comes straight on. Yeah, CPU power seems like it could be a good call. You suspect the cable isn't plugged in all the way. Let's check that. Let's power it off again. And switch off at the back. And have a look. Ooh. So, the cable starts at the PSU. We'll just press the power button a few times to make sure it's discharged. And unplug from here where it plugs in. So the light that's lighting up is labelled CPU. That's the one that's lit up, very clearly labelled CPU. So I'm gonna take that at face value and start off assuming that the problem is indeed the CPU. And we're going to check those cables. So before we worry about BIOS, let's have a look at that. So that is plugged in, and that is plugged in. The two CPU cables are plugged all the way into the power supply. So now let's have a look and make sure they're plugged in on the fan. Yes, it says 790, exactly. It's not a compatibility problem for sure. I know they're definitely compatible. So no need for anyone to worry about that. Ugh. This is very much a troubleshooting thing. Well, go on then, Tony. If it's a BIOS problem, what should I do to fix it? Because once we check the power cables, if it's still going, we'll look into that option. So if you say it's 100% BIOS setup, what does that mean and how do I fix it? Google it. Well, thank you for that. That's very helpful. I will get to Googling myself later. I'm more hoping we can try and troubleshoot this together. Anyway, my personal opinion of not being hugely technical, well, not hugely knowing loads about this, but my belief is that it's unlikely to be a BIOS problem, because that's not the impression I was given when I was researching this, was that there would be a BIOS update needed. But I'm happy to be wrong, to be proven wrong. But let's start by checking those power cables. And then I'll get Googling. Might be easier to actually pull this out. Let's take those cables out so we can see what we're doing. Oh, that's noisy. Put the latest BIOS for the motherboard on a USB stick. Okay. Rename it to msi.rom. Stick it in your motherboard. Oh. Well, we'll look at doing that after we've eliminated the options of this. I'm just going to pop you on one side so I can do this with two hands. Ooh. Okay. It does feel like the power cables are in all the way, but if I give them a little tug, they'll either come out or not. No, that feels secure. And this one. Yeah, they're in. They're in and clipped. So I think the power cables are okay. Off the top of my head. So let me grab my laptop and we'll have a little Google. So, Now, you see, if it were the RAM, I think the RAM light would light up rather than the CPU light. Power cable issues, misconfigured BIOS, hardware issues, faulty CPU or motherboard. Let's not assume fault. Says indicates CPU is not detected or fail. Yeah. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible the parts could be defective, but I think that's always. I think defective part is always one of the less likely options. So I think it's probably a question of eliminating the other possibilities before. I think assuming defective part should be the last thing we assume. I think we work our way up to that, but I think to assume that I don't think. I think that's one of the least likely options because it's fresh out of the box. I think it's more likely that there's something else I've done wrong than that. Than that's the part that's wrong. So it doesn't look like it's going to need a BIOS update. No, the CPU doesn't even have pins. CPU doesn't have pins that could bend. No, catnapper, we're not going to start the whole process again. I think that's a very rapid nuclear option to say, okay, we'll just take it all apart and start building it again. I think we're far better to go through a process of trying to troubleshoot first, rather than say, right, let's just toss it all. So let's figure it out. Tony says, do I have any buttons on my motherboard? Oh, that's interesting, Nari. Well, yeah, we can try unplugging any unnecessary things. We could try unplugging the drives. Sure. I mean, I know the hard drives are fine because they've used them, right up until we did this upgrade. So I know there isn't a problem with the hard drives, but we can try unplugging them in case there's a cable fault or something. Anyway, Tony was asking about there being buttons on the motherboard. Let's have a look. I can't see any buttons on the motherboard. I can't see anything that looks like a button. A BIOS flashback. What is a BIOS flashback? I'll show you the other side of the motherboard. Let's have a look. Round on this side. I can't see a button. But anyway, I don't think we need that just now. Behind the motherboard near the USB ports. No, I've not been wearing a jumper. We don't have a motherboard battery. It's not battery powered. This is a desktop PC. Anyway, I can't see this button you're talking about. But I don't think we need that at the moment. So let's have a go at unplugging the hard drives and seeing if it will boot to BIOS. I'm not so much being accommodating, really, Secret Time Lady. I'm really finding it very useful having other people to talk to. You know, having other people to give advice on the situation. So let's unplug the SATA cables. And that one. If it'll go. Come on. I'll pop you over on the side again. There we go. Right, the drives are unplugged. Should we try powering it again and see if we still get that light? Oh, it's not plugged in at the other end. Oh. There will be a round battery on the motherboard. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll get on that in a bit. Right now, let's try this. Okay, so we still get the CPU light. Just be really annoying if we have to take the CPU fan off again. We can do that. But again, let's eliminate the other options first. So. Let's look at the options. MSI Z790 Tomahawk i9 1300K BIOS update. Well, the thing is with the CPU, right? There wasn't really a difficult process to that. We just put it in and close the thing and power it. Like that's what you do for the CPU. So I don't think there can be anywhere we went wrong in putting the CPU in. The only place there could be a problem is in the, you know, if the CPU was defective to start with, but the probability of that is quite low. Yeah, with the arrow pointing the right way. You guys checked it for me when I put it in. course it's not 0, but we want to do things in opposite order. No, I can't boot into the BIOS. Nothing's booting at all with it. We get that red light on. Go on then, Blue. What did you find? Oh, you think, Tony? Do you think the red light is not an error? Try removing the CPU power cables, then plugging just one. Yeah, we could try that. But let's also look at the motherboard issue. Blue, could you drop the link or tell me the name of the Reddit post or something? Give me a clue as to how I can find that Reddit post myself. Yeah, no, it's not a GPU issue or a monitor issue. That's all fine. Don't worry, Laura. This is the same GPU and monitor we were using on the old PC, so there's no worries there. We can have a look at the RAM in a second. Thing is, Tony, I want to try and do this in a sort of logical, sensible order, and I really appreciate all the suggestions, but you are sort of spamming a lot of entirely different causes. Like a minute ago, you said it was 100% the BIOS. So I want to try and approach this method in order of sensibleness. So let's try and draw up a list of possible options and work through them. So this is someone with an MSI MAG Z90 Tomahawk. Oh, Nauri says, usually this means you neglected to plug in the 4x4 pin CPU power cable in the upper corner by the I/O panel. The 4x4 CPU power cable. I don't remember one of those. I don't remember a 4x4 one. Oh yeah, no, there was. That's the normal CPU power cable. That's the one we put in. The 8-pin CPU cable. Yeah, no, we have got that. They are plugged in, but let's check. Oh, I can see a... Oh, no, I can't. I wasn't sure if I could see a gap. Yeah, I used 2 of them. You're right, Nari, you're right. I'm with it. Oh. I thought... Sorry, apologies for the excited ooze. I thought I could see one wasn't seated properly. One wasn't plugged in properly, but it does look plugged in. It's not the easiest thing in the world to see. Yeah, no, they do look plugged in properly, but we could try unplugging one. Let's try that solution. Let's power it off. Try unplugging one. Removing them both and then inserting just one. Let's try exactly that. Oh, hey Gigi, how you doing? I'm curious though, Tony, on what basis do you assert that it's 100% a BIOS? What's informing that statement? How do you know? Not doubting you, I'm just curious, how do you know it's 100% a BIOS? Because that seems a very strong confidence level for a problem that could be a number of different things. I acknowledge there is a chance it could be the BIOS. I just think that's not the most likely option because these things are supposed to be good out of the box. The thing is, it's now even harder to access with the fans in place. I might have to pop the fan off again. That was such a pain getting it on. Let's try the power cables. Which means that needs to come out. There we go. Okay, that's out the way now, so we can access the power cables, the CPU power cables again. Oh, do you know, I don't know if that one is in all the way. It just clicked. One of the CPU power cables, I just pushed it a bit more and it just clicked. And now the little latch is up. So let's pop the fan back on and give that another go. Might not necessarily be it, but it suggests it could be. So let's test it. Let's see, that's as far as that will go down. So we'll pop the plugs back on. Lovely. Well, let's not say things like it should work, Nari. Let's not jump to jinx things. All we know is we've eliminated one more potential source of the problem. Bearing in mind there are many potential sources of the problem, we've eliminated one. But it could well not have been that. Remember, of course, there was another power cable it could have been using, you see. And indeed, the red light is still on. So that suggests to me it wasn't that. While the power cable was indeed not properly all the way in, we still have our red light switch, which suggests we still have a problem. We can try plugging in the DisplayPort cable again and see if anything comes up on the screen, but I'm doubtful that anything will, because that red light suggests we still have an issue. Oh. Tony says, of course, that red light is normal for operation, but I'm not convinced that is the case. I do think it is a debug light that only lights up when there's a problem. Of course, we do also have our hard drives not connected now. So if we're going to test, we should probably connect those back in. Let's leave the disk drive unplugged for now. We don't need to worry about that, but let's get the drives in. See, now, Tony, you've gone to 100% that it was this problem. Is it 100% bias or isn't it? Now it's if I boot it up, I'll see. But I suspect we are not out of the woods yet. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this one down there. How did I do this before? There we go, that's in. And then this one can go in like that. See, that doesn't click, which isn't great, but anyway. So we're going to need the... Ooh. Oh, blooming USB law. Where it doesn't go in the first time, no matter which way around you put it. Okay. And the other one. And the power. Right. Let's try it again. But I suspect that red light is not gonna let us boot in. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. Still the same issue. And we still have the red light on the CPU indicator. So, let's open up the laptop again and look at more potential solutions. Happy to explore the BIOS possibility? I don't think the cables can be at fault because they're brand new. Which wire, Catnapper? Outside the PC, inside the PC? Where are we talking? Hey V, the PC's built, but it's not starting. A bent wire on the floor. Thanks, I'll have a look afterwards. So you say reboot it multiple times. What, so just keep power cycling it? See if anything's different? Okay, turned it off once. By restart button. Okay, we can try that. Yeah, at least nothing's on fire. That's a good sign. And we'll try restarting a few times as instructed with the restart button. What do you do? Hold the restart button? Because just pressing it doesn't appear to do anything. Yeah, thanks, Catnapper. I saw your message. I'll bear that in mind. Just focusing on the PC at the moment. We'll worry about the other wires later. You want to see the side back panel of the motherboard where the USBs are. Yeah, nothing's happening when I'm power cycling the PC. Oh. I don't think that's going to do the job. Okay. So you wanted to see, what, this? Oh no, that's the GPU. You wanted to see this. What did you want to see about that? There you go. Anyway, so this CPU red light, let's carry on trying to ascertain what be going on with that. Okay. So I'm just reading through this article you sent me, Blue, if you're still there. Does sound like the same kind of situation. Thanks, Karuja. Yeah, we got... Yeah. It's the CPU light, and we know that could be a problem with the CPU, but we prefer not to... remove the CPU and everything unless we have to. So we're trying to eliminate any other possibilities first, because I think it's unlikely that the CPU is the issue, because the process of putting the CPU in was so simple. I find it hard to imagine that could have gone wrong. Could have done, but no, I don't have any other RAM. This is the only RAM I've got. Don't think it's a RAM issue. Yes, we tried connecting the monitor to the onboard graphics card, and there was no dice with that either. Well, for want of something else to try, we can try the BIOS thing. Need to see if I've actually got a USB stick. I don't know that I actually do anymore. You can always go to a shop and buy one. No, I know I need a USB stick if I want to do it. I'll have to try and find one. Just trying to find where to download the very latest BIOS from. Ah, you sent me a link. Thank you. The motherboard is a MAG Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. So if we take the very latest, having got that, then what does it say? It says you download that, then you extract it, oh, you're right. It did say on July the 13th added support for the next gen CPU. Well, we'll see. We'll give this a try. As ever, once we've tried this, we've just eliminated another possibility as to what might be causing the issue. But, who knows? Anyway. So that's what we want to send to a USB. So my next step is to try and find a USB stick. It's, oh, my legs. Quite possible we might have one. Oh, otherwise I might have to try and find one. Maybe borrow one from someone or buy one. Here we are. Here's a USB stick. 16 gig. Oh, that'll do. Easier than I expected, actually, to find that. Don't even know what's on this. Right, format it completely clean. Let's just check what's on it. Oh, an old Windows install. Okay. Format to FAT32. Yep. Do I need to call the USB stick anything? Format complete. So what did it say to do next? We download the thing. And then it said, send it to the USB. So I've got the downloaded thing. And I'm sending it to the USB. Hey, Pablo. Yeah, no, the PC is built, but it's not working, so we're troubleshooting. And then what do I have to rename it to? See, this guide actually doesn't say to do that. Oh, but that's because we're trying to do it from boot, right? So hang on, we download it. Format it. And what I renamed the file. Here, let me just show you what I've got. So I've got this, and I've got to rename this to msi.rom, do I? msi.rom. Okay. And that's on my stick. So now I pop that out, and we pop it in the port 3. Which is port 3? That one in the middle. Have a look in Discord. Okay. Let's have a look on the back of the thing. We'll turn off the PC again. So we are looking at, on the back of it, we've got the row of things at the back, at the bottom. Then we've got the two Wi-Fi things. Then we've got the Ethernet and the thing, and we want the one above it, which is this one. It's coming in here. Like, but I've got to get it the right way around. Like that. In there. Okay. Right. Now we've got to try and find this button that I couldn't find before. Oh, you say button 9. Is that, you mean that, what's labelled number 9? Oh yeah, there is a button, Flash BIOS. Right there. Does the power have to be on? I'm assuming I have to have powered on the PC. Should I power up the PC and then press it? And then what, just press it once? Well, there's no light. Nothing, there's no response. Should I hold it down? Literally nothing happened when I did that. Let's check the instructions again. Turn off the PC, then keep pressing it. That's good to know. Panicked monk. Don't touch anything until it's finished. Okay, so. I'm just reading the instructions. But I can't restart the PC like the YouTube video says because I don't have a... It won't open. When you say it should start to flash, what? The button itself should start to flash. So PC is powered off. I go and I press the button. Oh, oh, it's doing something. We've got a red light flashing. Good, progress. So now I just leave it. Okay. We wait for 5 minutes. And then see what happens. Red light's still lit up on the CPU. Leave it until it stops blinking. Well, it is at least blinking. So that's something. I will not touch anything. Well, let's all prepare ourselves for the fact that this, to be honest, probably won't work. Because again, there are lots of different things it could be. And we weren't convinced it was the BIOS. I know some of you were convinced it was the BIOS. Some of you were convinced it definitely wasn't the BIOS. So we're trying this. Thank you. I don't know how to say that. Riako Animada, thank you for the suggestion. I don't think it's the CPU fans because they seem to be working. So we leave it for 4 to 5 minutes. So there we go. While we wait. Filipiano? Oh. Haven't played in ages, I'll be a bit rusty. There we go. There we are. I said I'd be rusty. Ta-da! Something like that. Panicked Monk. Was there a plastic peel on the cold plate of the CPU cooler and did I remove it? Yes, I did. But it's a good idea. Thank you. Good suggestion, but no, there was one and we peeled it off. So that won't be it. But thank you for the suggestion. It gets tricky in the middle. There must be some kind of way out of here. Said the Joker to the thief. There's too much confusion now. Can't get no relief. No reason to get excited. The thief he kindly spoke. But there are many here among us who feel that life is but a joke. But you and I, we've been through that, and this is not our fate. So let us stop talking falsely now. The hour's getting late. All along the watchtower, princes kept the view, and all the women they came and they went, barefoot servants too. Outside in the cold distance, a wild cat did howl. The riders were approaching and the wind began to howl. Got some of the words wrong. Something like that. Right. How are we getting on with the BIOS? Ugh. The little light isn't flashing anymore. The red CPU LED is still on. So, I'm not hopeful, to be honest. But what should we do? Ugh. Power it off again, power it on again, see if it works now. Ugh. We can at least cross that option off the list of possibilities. Just double, triple checking that the light isn't flashing anymore. What else could it be? Component damage. I could have not seated the CPU properly, although I feel like that's a low probability because it looked like we did do it right. Just checking, there's definitely no light flashing there anymore. Are we happy that the BIOS update is done for what it's worth? So we'll try and power this off. And we'll try powering it on. Red light on the CPU, still there. So the BIOS update hasn't done it. Oh. Which isn't entirely surprising, because we didn't think it was that. But we have at least ruled that one out of the list. Because we did get the flashing red light, and the flashing red light means the BIOS is updating, doesn't it? And it did flash. So, there we go. Yeah, no, very much the CPU one is still lit up. But at least the BIOS is up to date. Exactly, exactly. So we'll get on to that, V, but at the moment, to be honest, that's not hugely helpful to me, talking about warranty on the parts being damaged. Like, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, if we come to it. But it's not the most useful thing just at the moment. We can try reseating the CPU. Of course, that'll mean we have to take off the whole CPU cooling system, which is a bit of a pain. Anyway, we just know that this person managed to get it fixed. But it wasn't that. Anyway, Nauri, off the top of your head, do you have any more ideas? You say make sure all the cables are plugged in. I'm pretty confident the cables are all plugged at this point. But we could try what you suggested and take off the 2 cables and just plug the 1. See what that does. Oh. Oh. Anyway, Tony, so when you said it was 100% the BIOS... Sorry, I'm not going to say I told you so. But now I guess we've learned a bit more about percentages. Right. And probabilities. To be fair, it could be a compound issue. The BIOS could have been part of a multiple issue thing. It's all right. I do appreciate the suggestion because it could have been that. It could have been, and now we've eliminated that prospect, that possibility. Oh. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not convinced it's a static thing. At no point did we put anything on the carpet. I've been quite careful to ground myself at various stages when we were handling the delicate components. I don't think static is the issue. It might be, I might be wrong, but I don't think. I just have a feeling it's not that. Oh. It could be. Because at this stage, we just don't know. I'm just not convinced. Okay, that's one CPU power out. Let's take out the other one. It'll come out. There we go, there's the second one out. And now we'll just pop the one back in. He says, optimistically, that as though this wasn't a really difficult thing to begin with. None of the pins are bent though or anything, we can see that now. In until it clicks, and there we go, it's clicked into CPU power 1. Nice and clear. And we'll try booting it up again. Oh. No, we still have the CPU light. So that's not done it. It's a bit disappointing. Oh, that is correct, Ghosty. Starfield does rhyme with Garfield. And I'm not now convinced we'll necessarily ever be able to play it. No, that's not true. We will be able to play it. Oh. Make sure the motherboard cable is inserted all the way in too. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty clear that that's in. Because, I mean, the motherboard clearly has power. Doesn't it? You know? See you, Blue. Thank you for the suggestions. Yeah, as I say, Tony, I don't actually have any other RAM, so I don't have anything to swap it to. So that would be quite a big investment as well to buy alternative RAM. I'm not convinced the RAM is the problem. But the motherboard power is in. I'm pretty sure anyway. And to be honest, we wouldn't be getting this far if the motherboard didn't have power, would we? I don't think it's the RAM. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the stream there, and I'm going to go take a bit of break, going to do a little bit of research, see if I can find any other ideas for what might be causing the problem, and then we'll get back to it. Okay? So let's give it a go. I'm going to go and find out some other options. If you guys have any further thoughts, do please drop a comment down below. If you have any other ideas for what might be causing the problem, I'd be very grateful for your help and suggestions. We've eliminated BIOS being the problem. We're pretty confident the power cables are all securely in, so I don't think that's the issue either. And we'll see what else we can eliminate. Okay? Thanks so much for the suggestions, everyone, and for bearing with me and for keeping me sane. And yeah, I'll catch up with you soon. Okay, bye-bye.